Hey, it's Eric from Aquanuga. Today I thought we'd take a look at the different types of piping that are commonly used in water features and help you select what's going to work best in your application. We're going to start with the black vinyl tubing. This is a 3/4 inch black vinyl tubing. And as you can see, this is pretty flexible. So that's going to minimize the needs for any 90s fittings that are going to reduce the flow from your pump. When we do get into the larger diameters of the vinyl tubing, this is 1.25 inches, you're not going to be able to make those sharp turns because you're going to be apt to kink a little bit. So those you might have to throw in some fittings to get any sharper turns. Next is going to be what's called the kink-free tubing. As you can see, this is very, very flexible and not going to kink. Your disadvantages here are it's just not going to hold up as well long term. Does tend to get brittle over time and would need to be replaced. It also is not necessarily going to fit on fittings quite as well. Sometimes it's a little loose, sometimes it's a little tight. With either of these types of fittings, you're installing those the same way, and that's over a barbed fitting, and that's just going to slip on like so, and then secure that with a hose clamp to make sure that doesn't pop off. With any of these, if they're real tight, kind of hard to get onto that barbed fitting, you can lay it out in the sun for a few minutes, put the end in a cup of hot water, something like that will make it a little bit more malleable and more likely to go onto your fitting. Next, we'll look at the flexible PVC. This is commonly used, of course, by professional installers, but absolutely can be done by the do-it-yourselfer as well. Fairly flexible. Does take a little bit of a length to make a sharp turn. Not going to be able to do that on a real short piece like that. Not going to be nearly as flexible. Also, the larger diameters does tend to get just a little bit less flexible on that. But very versatile. And then we're going to have the more traditional rigid PVC pipe. This obviously is not flexible at all. So you're definitely going to need those 90s and 45s to make any turns with this. Once you start adding in fittings like that, it does add friction loss, going to reduce the flow that the pump's able to provide in your application. Either the flexible PVC or the rigid PVC, both installed the same way, and that is being glued into standard Schedule 40 fittings, just using a traditional PVC cement. That wraps up piping. I hope that helps. As always, if there's anything we can do to assist, please let us know. Thanks for watching.